Good morning. Here we are in the very, very beautiful Polezza, just on the edge of Lake Lugano, as you can see. And today we are attempting a hike for the first time to Benya Waterfall, which is somewhere up over there. And thought that we would bring you along so that you get to experience this beautiful day and yeah, some amazing scenery hopefully. Difference when you're out of the certain is still pretty significant. You know when the incline is so steep that you can actually only put like your tiptoes down? That's what this one's like. So we have a pretty cool view overlooking the town of Polezza, and just in the background there you can see Lago di Piano, and then just where those mountains are in the distance before there you've got Lake Como. Right now, more uphill. So we're following a route that's listed on All Trails, the app, and it's listed as hard, and the difficulty level definitely concur with that one. It's a pretty steep climb so far, but as always, rewarded with amazing views. One word to describe this hike so far?
Scenic, beautiful.
Intense. Now in and still very much climbing, higher and higher. Just a word of warning for anyone who wants to tackle this route. Sometimes with hiking you get to go up a bit, flattens out a little bit, goes up a bit. This is a relentless uphill.
Good path though.
But a good track, definitely. And really well marked as well with the red and white like paints that you see. So fingers crossed we're somewhere near the top. Where we're going to stop for a pasta lunch. Is that another little pasta picnic? You got fine. I think this might be the start of the journey down.
Steve, fuck off. That is insane down there. Oh, I've got goosebumps. as well. And feeding the waterfall and stuff, not the way down there. Beautiful. It's massive, really.
Yeah.
Can I put your drinks back in the bag?
That's fun.
Okay, yeah? You got it? What are you doing?
Just when you think you're done with the uphill, up we go. Watch left. First glimpse of flats on the way back.
Okay.
And that's where we've come from. Do I have no food?
No, no, sono qui nell'orto.
Okay.
Sì, vai. Ciao.